Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Million Dollar Body Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Nate. And if you're here, it's probably because you're a high performer, business owner, or entrepreneur that's interested in maximizing your physique, your finances, and your family time using fitness and nutrition as force multipliers in your life. If you're not a part of the Facebook group already, definitely go to n8trainingsystems.com/group. That's where we stream these podcast episodes live every week, or you can join in and ask questions. There's a ton of cool stuff happening in the group as well as a mass amount of free resources. We just posted a brand new at-home training program in case your gym is closed down due to COVID. Jump into the group and just type in home program ? And I'll get that to you ASAP. Again, go to n8trainingsystems.com/group to join us there. If you're already in the group and we're watching it live, I'm excited to have you because today we're going to be talking about how to automate your success using some boring principles in life and just making sure that you are setting yourself up for success by not trying to think through everything. We're going to talk about some examples of people that have done this really effectively in the past. But before we get started, one of the things that I love to do is give a shout out to the people who are accomplishing big things in the million dollar body community. Right now, I want to give it up to my guy, Eric Kelly. Eric dropped about 83 pounds this year so far. We're really closing in on his eventual goal. And I just got to say, man, you are crushing it, getting after it. And I really appreciate seeing your hard work and determination and just that relentless attitude you bring every single day to your workouts, your work. Eric's awesome. So today I want to jump in and talk about, is excitement the enemy of mastery? Can you actually get more by becoming a master of the mundane? Can you outsource your success by no longer relying on excitement, new, different, special, better in certain arenas and saving those things that we want new, fresh, exciting for specific arenas, movies, entertainment, and leaving the food and nutrition alone in terms of always changing it up, always making it special. So I want to think about, like, if you've ever watched a sports movie, and if you're here, you probably watched a sports movie in the past. I'm just guessing. But in every sports movie, and like the ones that come to mind are, for me, I saw Creed 2 the other day. And Creed 2 is an amazing movie. Michael B. Jordan, not regular Michael Jordan, this is like Michael Jordan diet. Actually not, this dude's jacked. But he played Killmonger, Black Panther. He plays Creed in the 2 Creed movies. But dude is a beast, okay? And so when I'm watching this movie of him just going up against Ivan Drago's son in this, I think in this one, and he gets basically the shit kicked out of him in Russia at first, and ends up winning by decision or something, like disqualified. It's like it doesn't end up well for him. He gets his shit rocked. Okay, so what does he have to do? Well, he's got to go back and he's got to start training with Rocky again. There's probably a fallout and some emotion stuff. And, he's like, hey, kid, I don't think, like, Sylvester Stallone looks great for 72, but man, he cannot move his mouth at all. Hey, you got to get in the desert, you got to flip some tires. So what does he do? He goes and starts training, right? And every single sports movie has a training montage, which basically makes training look like the sexiest goddamn thing on planet Earth. It's like, okay, you got like Rocky 3, Rocky's in the barn doing dragon flags, like picking up things, like digging snow. And he's like in the meat factory, like punching sides of beef. And then in Creed, he's out in the desert and he's like running and the car's chasing him. And then like he gets into the ring with the guy and they both put their feet in like a tire. And then they start punching each other. And it's just amazing training montage. It just is so cool and so inspiring. And if you're like me at all, you get like, you're in that mode, you're watching the training montage, you're like, holy shit, like this makes me want to go bench press like a Buick right now, this second. But the reality is they only show training montages because training is boring, okay? They show like him like running with a car, and then he's like sad and he falls down, and he's like, oh, he gets back up, and now he's sprinting, and like, oh, like this happens over like a couple of weeks, and now he's in like great shape, and he's running fast, and he's killing it. But what they don't show you, and if you've ever been for a run, you know that training montage period where you're like in your headphones and you're feeling good, that lasts about 4 minutes. Then all of a sudden you're like, when does the training montage stop? Why is it so hard right now? Why am I tired? Why are my legs hurt? because a lot of times this training can just get a little bit boring, especially if you're talking about cardio, training for an endurance event. If you ever run like a half marathon, marathon, or ultra marathon, then like, it's not always sunshine and rainbows to be out there on the trail, on the pavement, on the canal, just like running for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. Like, there is not enough M&M like flavored pump up music in the world that can keep you in training montage mode for a 4-hour run. It doesn't exist. It's just like, after a while, you have to embrace the brutality of it rather than trying to be hype about it. So it's a mindset shift, because if we're trying to always pursue excitement, new, that feeling of like, all right, I'm in the gym, I'm like, yeah, I just got it. Yeah, Creed, punching the guy, fighting, flipping tires. Then the second things get boring, hard, or mundane, we start being like, well, why is this so boring? Shouldn't this be exciting? And the answer is no. Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. And I think that if we can take that quote, just extrapolate that to everything that we want to get good at, you can see that some of the most successful people in the world are not people who require new, sexy, brand new, like exciting modalities all the time, but they are able to embrace boring, mundane stuff in places where, to be honest, it doesn't matter. Okay. So for example, if you look at like two people I want to bring up right now is Barack Obama and Steve Jobs. Both of them have the exact same idea about their clothes. They realize that their clothes don't matter at all. And to take the mental, just kind of the mental energy that it takes to go into your closet and decide what you want to wear and what tie and what looks good and how do I look and how does this fit every single day. It doesn't take a lot to do that, but it takes a little bit. And when you multiply that across hundreds of days, that's a lot of energy you're spending just thinking about clothes. Barack Obama has 2 types of suits, a gray one and a blue one, and he just chooses one and just wears it. Steve Jobs wore his outfit, his uniform, every single day, whether he was launching a new product or, displaying like the Apple iPod, or, probably up at a ski resort or, at a quinceanera. I don't know about the last one, but the guy was rocking jeans and a turtleneck all the time, because he knew that his energy was better placed in going deep on some of the things that he's creating, inventing, and managing, rather than thinking about what his clothes look like. So he automated his success, and it sounds so simple, by making sure that his clothes didn't take up any of his mental energy. Chris Suave of Shopify says basically he automates his nutrition by pretty much eating chicken and potatoes every single night for dinner. And because he's not worn down by the extra decision-making on mundane things like what he's going to eat for dinner, he's able to just dedicate his entire self to making amazing things happen for Shopify. Okay. James Clear, the best-selling author of Atomic Habits, which is an amazing book if you haven't read it yet. He reaffirms the value of boring routines over and over and over again by saying this: the only way to become excellent is to become endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over. You have to fall in love with boredom. So this doesn't mean necessarily that everything has to be mundane, boring, and hard to do, but by actually shifting our mentality to fall in love with the process, which is such a cliche bumper sticker type thing to say, by shifting our mentality to fall in love with the process, with being fascinated by doing the same thing over and over, that's when we start to automate our success and develop really good results. Here's how this fits in fitness. Now, one of the biggest tricks that the mainstream media ever pulled on us in fitness was the idea of muscle confusion. Muscles don't get confused. They're not like, whoa, why are we spinning? Are we on a Bosu ball right now? Why are you doing naked kettlebell swings? Their muscles don't get confused. In fact, the first 2 weeks of starting a new program, a new exercise, a new sport, that's when we go through what are called our neurological adaptations. So that's when we get our brain gains. So if you think about picking up a new sport, playing golf for the first time or something like that, there's a lot of nuance to swinging a golf club. But if you think about going to the gym, well, now you're talking about bicep curls and overhead presses and squats and deadlifts and kettlebell swings and lat pull downs and pull-ups and push-ups. There's a ton of different exercises, and maybe they're not as nuanced as the golf swing, but each one of them requires their own neurological adaptations. Your brain getting used to doing a brand new exercise that maybe you haven't done or haven't done correctly. So when we introduce the idea of muscle confusion to this, and it's like, well, we need to change our workouts up every week or every 2 weeks to keep our muscles confused. By the way, they don't get confused. Muscles only know strain and load. Then we are only getting a little bit of the neurological adaptations, and we're actually never getting to the muscular adaptations. Muscular adaptations happen week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into a program. So when you need your program to change every 2 weeks or even every 4 weeks, and you're just moving from exercise to exercise, then you never really get a chance to see your body changing because the muscles are adapting to the stimulus, not just your brain. But I got a lot stronger in my chest press. Exactly. You'll always get a lot stronger through neurological adaptations before you start seeing your body physically change from the muscular adaptations, okay? So it takes a second for our brain to catch up, because we're like, think about it like this. If you've never done a push-up before, then the push-up neural pathway is this little tiny dirt road, like walking out to the barn, okay? But once you've done your push-ups for 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 100,000 times, then that push-up pathway has become like a super highway in your brain where it's just automatic. You just do those reps and it's no problem for you anymore. So you make the neurological adaptations first, and so you can make the muscular adaptations, because until you get the brain actually with that great pathway where everything's are fluent, moving well, then you can increase your load, increase the tension, increase the difficulty of the exercise to cause your body to respond in kind. So that's one way that we can utilize boringness to get the results we're looking for in our physique. So you're never gonna have great shoulders, a big V taper, a big bench press if you're always changing things up. So be comfortable with the process, get a little bit boring, it's no problem. Another person who automates their success by doing the same thing every single day, Tim Ferriss and Michael Jordan. They both wake up early. Tim Ferriss makes his bed. He says it fills him with a small sense of pride and accomplishes something right off the bat. Then he meditates for 20 minutes. Also meditation, not very exciting, kind of boring. But it's a habit that a lot of people include because they've fallen in love with the process. Sitting there, working on your breathing, it's not like fresh and new, but if you can fall in love with the nuance and try to do a little bit better and get a little bit deeper each time, then take that mentality to those other things, to your fitness, to your nutrition, it makes it so much easier to get great results. Michael Jordan woke up early every single morning to go what he called breakfast club, which he would go and work out with his trainer, Tim Grover, at 5:30 a.m. and invite members of the Bulls to come with him. And he would do that before practice every single day. It started as a 30-day challenge that Tim Grover had put on for him, but he kept it going after he lost to the Pistons in the playoffs and went on to win three championships. So, I'm just trying to list off guys who are doing these at a high level because obviously we know Michael Jordan is successful. He's the only billionaire athlete. Tim Ferriss has written bunches of books. He's awesome what he does. He's interviewed some of the smartest, most successful people in the world, and he's adopted some of the habits that make him successful. We talked about Chris Suave. We talked about James Clear. We talked about Obama and wow, I'll get it. And oh my goodness. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna stop thinking about it now. The CEO of Apple. Anyways, all these professional, super smart dudes are utilizing boring routines to amplify their success. That's why morning routines, AM routines is so popular, because we see and want to emulate these guys who are doing it at a really high level. So it's all about automating your success by not necessarily needing new and exciting workouts, because the one you have is great. Just grind on it, work harder at it. Your nutrition plan, probably good. We just need to get better at it, dial it in every single time. You don't need a new meal every single day. You don't need an exciting piece of chocolate cake. I doubt that any one of us have ever left like an 8-year-old's birthday party and been like, oh man, you know what? I forgot to eat the cake today. What an idiot. I'm going to be thinking about that cake for a long time. No one ever does that, because at the end of the day, like an exciting dessert or drink or piece of cake or something like that doesn't actually bring us closer to our goals. And therefore, we're going to have more regret over having chosen excitement in that moment than we are going to be as we come away from that and start moving again towards our goals, pursuing a better physique, less belly fat, more money in our business, etc. One other person I wanted to bring up was Nicholas Lindstrom. He played for the Detroit Red Wings for about 20 years. He's won the Stanley Cup 4 times. He won a gold medal at the Olympics. He's also won individual awards like Sports Illustrated's NHL Player of the Decade, which is a pretty prestigious award, as well as the Norris Trophy, which he's won 7 times. Okay. So I was watching an NBC sports documentary on Lindstrom, and they showed a routine that he followed on a daily basis, which was so boring. Okay. So before every home game, what he would do is he would go to the same restaurant. He would sit at the same table with the same person and order the exact same thing every single time before every home game. And for those of you wondering, he would eat a Caesar salad, a spaghetti, half palomino and half meat sauce, and then with chicken on the side. After that, he goes home. He takes a nap. One of his teammates picks him up, and they go to the same Starbucks every single time, where he orders the same tall mocha every time, goes to the stadium, drives in the exact same way, and then walks into the stadium using the same path. There's no thinking about it. There's no excitement. There's no anything interesting happening. He's just automated his success because he knows that every single thing will be the same, and he can do a little bit better where it matters most, where he's playing. So I thought that was really interesting, just seeing how many people that we consider to be so successful in their life are so boring. And we think about Bruce Lee, and I mean, even if you want to count some of the Rocky franchises and different athletes we see in this, but we see their training routines and think, oh my gosh, that's so exciting because it's set to a badass song and they're doing cool stuff in a barn. But what they don't show is that in order to get tired enough to fall down on a run, you got to run for a long goddamn time. You got to run forever. And it's so boring to get there. But at the end of that boringness, at the end of that mundane experience, that's where we really start getting better results. Just in terms of my own training recently, I've been finding that my coach has been programming workouts for me that are different from how I like to train. So there's no supersets. It's all straight sets, a lot more rest between sets. My workouts are taking about an hour 10, hour 15. I like to get out in 50 minutes. And so I'm in the gym waiting between sets and I am bored. I'm bored. I want to do other things. I want to include flashy exercises. I want to jump up and do some pull-ups and leg lifts and just kind of move around and do more physical stuff. But the program doesn't call for that. The program is boring. And because of that, I've actually seen some really great increases in my strength, in my physique. I'm seeing some definition that I hadn't seen before because I'm willing to follow up with a boring routine and just work as hard as I can over and over again. I don't need to think about my workout routine. It's already written for me. So all I need to do is go and execute on it. No brain process required. Work as hard as I can, and I move on. When I wake up in the morning, I do the same thing every single day. I wake up, brush my teeth, and start writing down the 3 things that I need to do for the day. Boring. Move on. At night, same thing. I always brush my teeth, go to bed, read a book, take my supplements, put my sleep mask on. Boring. Same all the time. So I'm going to ask you, where in your life can you start doing more boring stuff to get the results that you want? Save your entertainment for your vacations, for movies and TV shows, for music you like, for podcasts, like the $1 Million Body Podcast. And let's automate and get a little bit more boring with the things that don't matter, that don't need to be exciting, and that we can fall in love with the process, right? So just be I think that Bruce Lee quote that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode is really poignant and important. And I think we see it in a lot of different places, right? But think about that. Think about 10,000 kicks. Think about one kick done 10,000 times. How much time would that take? How many days would you be doing that? How boring would that possibly be? So whether that's your business and prospecting and making a phone call, whether it's your fitness and doing the right exercises at the right time, and whether it's your nutrition and making sure that you're drinking the same protein shake in the morning, eating the same meals basically every single week. You don't have to eat the same meal every night, but eating the same thing on a weekly basis, not having to have always new and different foods. Where can you be more boring in your life that would lead to better results that you're looking to get from the goals you've set for yourself? So whether that's a leaner body, showcasing a six-pack, bigger arms, more financial independence in your business, better relationships with your family, where can you strive for something that's a little bit more boring that you can fall in love with the process and become a master of the mundane? If you have any other questions for me on this podcast, I'd love to hear them. If there's anything that you are like curious about in terms of the this idea, drop them here. And if you get a chance to take a screenshot of this podcast episode, share it on your social media, and tag me at N8 Training or at N8 Training Systems. I'd love to answer any questions you have. And I always get pumped up when I see someone tag me on social media saying that they're listening to the podcast. So hope you're having an awesome day. Make sure to drop a question below if you've got one, and I will talk to you very soon, hopefully next week.